Cool. Hello everybody, welcome to this FPL live stream on Fantasy Football Hub. Today me and Bakar are going to talk about loads of things. We're going to talk about wildcard strategy, is it time, a couple of big debates. We're going to have a look back at his team, have a look at what he's doing next week. I might throw in a bit about my team. And then later in the week we're going to put out a video of our current wildcard build because I know a lot of you are thinking about that. And the beauty of wildcard building is that even if you aren't wildcarding, a lot of the picks, the differentials, the different players that are being picked can be pertinent to you. So I'm joined by Bakar. Here he is. Bakar, you're looking great. Nice new setup.
Thanks, man. Got a new webcam, so I'm hoping it helps with the quality. Thanks for the suggestion, by the way.
No worries.
But yeah, I mean, this was probably one of the worst weeks of the season. I think definitely one of the worst weeks of the season in terms of being low scoring. Personally, I had my worst game week rank in the first game weeks in this one. But it was one of those weeks where it's never good to actually have a bad week, but it was one of the weeks where I'll take it because almost everyone, barring the lucky people who owned Tony or Trossard, they had an average week or a below par week. So I'll take it. I'm still 400k at this stage of the season. I'll take that with both hands and we'll move on.
Take that to the bank. Yeah, I think a lot of engaged managers or a lot of people watching might have had bad weeks, and I feel like a lot of more casual managers might have got away with one. You know, they might have had maybe the Trossards and the Tonys. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit degrading to just say the casuals had Tony and Trossard because people probably put in a lot of research and felt they were good picks. And I think Trossard definitely had a lot of I don't know, what am I trying to say here? I think Trossard was a decent pick, you know, when you're looking at that, but picking Trossard over Gross was a ballsy call. Tony over the likes of Mitrovic or Isaac or whoever else you've picked, or even going to that third forward slot, you know, it was a ballsy call. You mentioned luck. Do you think it was lucky or do you think it was just a good play?
Trossard, I think, was definitely good play, and so was Tony, to be very honest with you. Tony was very unlucky, in fact, in the previous 2 weeks not to have scored. He had 3 big chances almost in the previous 2 games before he finally got the hat-trick. So, I mean, he was due. I guess, considering the game state, he was a bit lucky to get a hat-trick, but he deserved points for his previous performances as well. So it was going to come through at some stage, and I'm sort of happy for Tony owners who kept the faith despite his run of blanks.
Yeah, and it's one of those, I think, that a lot of people now, after the performances of certain sort of mid-price forwards, a lot of people are turning their eyes, you know, away from maybe the template, and people are getting sick of Gabriel Jesus very quickly. People are getting very sick of Salah. These are all topics we're going to cover. But first off, I want to talk to you about wildcards. As I said already, we're going to do a wildcard draft later in the week, so if people have popped it, make sure you subscribe and we'll drop out your draft on Thursday. But in terms of when to wildcard, people debating it doing this week. Is it too early? Why should they hold off if they should, or should they just go for it?
I mean, if the team requires it, if the squad requires it at this point in time, I don't mind a wildcard right now. Simply because some of the players you'll be buying in game week 8 or 9, they do have good fixtures right now as well. Most of them. It does make sense, and it can sort of help with the team value as well. So if you have serious problems in your squad and you sort of don't want to take hits, then I can see the logic of going even this week. However, I think it makes more sense, if possible, to hold on to game week 8 or 9. There's serious merit to wildcarding in 8 as well. We'll come to that later, but in game week 8 and game week 9, I'm actually eyeing up those 2 windows because for someone like me who has triple Liverpool and Chelsea, double Chelsea defense in my squad, there are plenty of fires to put out. So I have been considering a game week 8 my wildcard myself. Having said that, I'll try my best to hold on to game week 9 because the key thing for me, whether to decide deciding between wildcard and 8 and 9, is the fact that Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli are playing Brentford in game week 8, which is still a good fixture. Brentford's defensive stats aren't all that great. I would still expect Arsenal to do well. And those are 2 players I won't have on a wildcard if I was wildcarding in 9, because Arsenal's run of fixtures from 9 isn't really that great. When you look at their fixtures from game week 9, they have Spurs, Liverpool, and City in 3 of the next 4. Now that is a significant swing, and I want to sort of bank against those players despite their pedigree, because I'm a fixtures guy, so I prefer going with players who have better fixtures. So I think that's a risk worth taking. And if possible, if I don't have too many fires to put out in my squad, I'll aim to wildcard in game week 9.
Okay, and if you were to wild card right now, which you're not, but if people are, what sort of formation would you be looking at? Would you be going 3 up top? A lot of people are bringing in that third forward now, or how would you be playing it?
100%, 100%. There's no doubt about it, because simply because the value the forwards are offering. I mean, Haaland at this stage picks himself, so he's not even worth discussing. I think two of Mitrovic, Tony, and Isaac would fit the bill perfectly. I mean, we've sort of gotten to the stage where if we were allowed to have 4 or 5 strikers, we'd still have them, because there's so many options out there right now, all with incredible underlying statistics, all looking good to deliver. So it's actually very hard to pick between two of them. But definitely, I would definitely go with 3 up top, and possibly a 4-3-3 or a 3-4-3. Either way, it's fine.
What I'd love to see in the comments is everyone just throw in your pick out of Mitrovic, Tony, and Isaac. I want to see if any of them come out on top and dominate. So just one word, Isaac, Mitrovic, or Tony. Get them all in the comments. I'd love to see. But yes, look, we're going to have a look at a few other things. I looked at a few things with Abdul FPL Salah yesterday, and we're going to look at a lot of similar things today, because there's a lot of similar talking points through the week, but it's always great to get different experts, different opinions. But one thing we haven't done yet, Bakar, that I want to do is I wanted to have a look back at your game week. You had 37 points here, a game week rank of 7.9 million. As you mentioned, it was probably your worst week. You've took a decent red arrow down to just over 400k. The only thing that went right in this team was Haaland captain. Outside that, Nico Williams getting an assist was nice. But really, blanks and blanks and blanks. And this is similar to my team. It's similar to Abdul's team. It's similar to a lot of people's teams. There's a lot of relatively template picks here. But the question is, and the point that when I look at a team like this is, it's very easy to panic short term when you shoot a 37-point week. But whenever you look at the players in this team that have blanked, every single one of them are good picks for their own reason, and every single one of them is a premium pick. So I think it's just an unlucky week. I don't think it's per team structure or selection. Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not panicking or anything. I mean, I still think it's a good squad to keep for 2 weeks, and I can manage with the free transfers that I have. I have 2 free transfers in hand this week, and then another that I'll get next week. So with 3 transfers, I'm hopefully without any other injuries or anything else that comes up, I can afford to navigate the next 2 weeks. That's the plan. I'm not panicking. I still think most of these players are good picks, just because James blanked this week or Martinelli or Jesus blanked. Doesn't really mean that they turn into bad picks overnight. Especially now, Brighton have good fixtures, so I'm confident with Sanchez as well. So yeah, it was just one of those weeks, and it's just worth putting out of the memory straight away.
Yeah, we'll move on from this one. So maybe later in the video, we'll have a look at what you're thinking about next week. But a question I wanted to ask you, and just a topic to talk about, is sort of, those shorter term 2-week punts. If you were holding the wild card off, which a lot of people here will be, who would you be punting on for 2 weeks based off the sort of shorter term fixtures?
John, at this stage, what's important is for everyone who's making transfers this week, they have to sort of have a rough idea of when they're wildcarding, whether they want to go in 8 or 9, because that is what is going to dictate the transfers from now on in. That's going to have a huge say in where we go. If you ask me for short-term punts, I've highlighted 3 fixtures in particular. If you're looking to attack, I think this week there's Bournemouth versus Brighton, which looks like a prime fixture to attack. A Brighton attacker that could potentially do really, really well, the likes of Gross or Trossard. Then there's Man United versus Leeds next week. So a lot of us own Luis Diaz now. He's away to Chelsea. We can potentially sell him for Rashford, because I'm not expecting huge things from Rashford this week, despite the fact that Crystal Palace are actually 20th for big chances conceded this season. But it's a deep block, and I'm not really sure how United are going to play against them, because United sort of struggle against deep blocks. And what played into Rashford's hands this week was the fact that he was playing against a high line, and that was basically an ideal fixture for him. And I expect something similar against Leeds as well. I expect United to score plenty against Leeds. They historically do as well. So that's an ideal fixture to own Rashford in. That's another one I'm potentially eyeing up. Then there's Newcastle versus Bournemouth to attack in game week 8 as well. Now you can go and get the likes of Isaac or Trippier, and that looks like another prime fixture to target if you're wildcarding anytime soon. So these are the three fixtures which I'm looking at, and all these players that I've spoken about make a lot of sense in my opinion.
I've just pulled up a most transfer in this game week graphic. It's updated since yesterday's stream, and no surprise, Rashford is still running ahead. 652k people have transferred him in just before. We pulled this graphic just before we streamed. Trippier in second, over 400,000 people have brought him in. Ivan Toney there in third. McAllister is an interesting one. We all talk about our grosses and our Trossards. Is McAllister someone you like? Obviously, absolute weapon of a right foot.
I'm a stats guy, and his numbers aren't that impressive. I know it's the output that counts, but when you look at his underlying statistics, he's had like 3 shots inside the box, 3 penalty area touches, and in 6 games. That's not really ideal. He is heavily reliant on set pieces and penalties, and that's something which I don't want from my attackers. I would rather go for Trossard, even though Trossard was playing as a wing back. His numbers have been very, very impressive. He consistently gets in the penalty area box, has plenty of shots in the box. He's actually one of the most, he's probably the most explosive Brighton midfielder. Gross will continue to take along. I can't afford the Trossard, so I might go for Gross this week because I think he will continue to take along. And what I really like about him is his bonus accumulations. Whenever he gets any attacking return, he's likely to get a bonus of 1 or 2 points. So that's something which is great about him. But yeah, McAllister is someone who's not really in my thoughts.
Anthony hit the ground running. A lot of people have brought him in. Screams Magpie to me. Screams new shiny toy. Whenever he's $1 million more expensive than Rashford, people, and similar price to Sancho. Anthony played in the right, got a goal, didn't finish the match, but looked good. I don't think he's good enough yet, or proven enough yet to come into my team. I watched a lot of him at Ajax. A brilliant player, loves to cut in on that left and have a pop, but as he did, I don't know at that price if I could justify him over Rashford for the extra $1 million, but a lot of people seem to want him in.
You've hit the nail right on the head there. I mean, there's nothing much to say. When Rashford is $1 million cheaper, we need more concrete evidence to suggest that Anthony is worth the extra $1 million.
It's as simple as that, isn't it? I think it's
exactly.
it's a punt at the minute. It's a punt. It's not necessarily an educated decision. And I mean, sometimes those punts pay off and you look like a hero and you're running ahead of the pack with a great asset. But I don't know. I'd like to see a bit more from such a young talent come on with such pressure and a big price tag into a completely new league. But that's that. I don't know, actually, Bakar, I don't know if I didn't throw this at you beforehand. Have you seen his stats on him? Were his numbers any good outside of the goal, or was it a goal and that was about it?
Anthony or Rashford?
Anthony, sorry.
His numbers were okay. That was, I mean, nothing to really comment about. It. That was basically the only glimpse that he had. Nothing exceptional. Other than that, nothing stood out.
Now, I want to ask you about this as well. Robertson, I got rid of him last week. Thank God. You nearly convinced me to keep him and roll for a week. You nearly had me, but I decided Robertson out. And I think I got rid of Bailey. Was it Robertson and Bailey out? Rodrigo. Or no, was this the week before? I can't even remember.
No,
I got rid of Robertson this week for Nico Williams, is what happened, and I brought in Luis Diaz.
Diaz, yeah.
Yeah, but
for Rodrigo,
that was it. Thank God I got rid of Robertson. Just benched, and we've been calling it for a couple of weeks now. Here, we've been calling it the channel for a couple of weeks, sort of saying like it's due, it's coming. Tsimikas coming on, he's getting 60 minutes. Tsimikas going to come on, he's going to get benched out of nowhere. It's not necessarily out of nowhere when it's predictable, but it happened. So I don't know. Is it time up for Robertson? Just not sure enough about minutes. And I don't know, him and Trent, he got some minutes and Trent didn't play the 60 to get the clean sheet, and there's Champions League football coming, which is brilliant. Well, it's brilliant from a spectator standpoint. From an FPL standpoint, it's a nightmare. I don't know, just the Liverpool fullbacks this season have been breaking hearts, but particularly Robertson.
I mean, Klopp did come out and say that that was basically a rest based on the number of minutes he'd accumulated, and nothing to do with his recent performances. That's slightly reassuring for his owners. I mean, if you own him at this point in time, you can't sell before Wolves. I just don't think that makes sense, because Wolves is more or less, it should be on paper, a guaranteed clean sheet. They've had like 3 goals in 6 games this season. They're historically very goal shy. So if you own a Liverpool defender, this looks to be a very prime fixture for a clean sheet.
What if Robertson gets 90 minutes against Napoli?
He's had his rest. I'd still expect him to start, because he's had his rest. That gives me more confidence. If he wasn't rested, then I would have been questioning his security of starts. But I'm fairly confident that he's going to start the Wolves fixture now. I'm actually slightly worried about Diaz if he plays 90 today. I hope he doesn't, because now Nunes is back, Jota is back. As a Diaz owner, that's something which I have to keep an eye on as well.
I don't know, Bakar. I think if Robertson gets 90 minutes against Napoli, I think people should be out the door with him, because even if he starts the weekend against Wolves, what's not to say he gets 58 minutes? I don't know. 90 minutes versus Napoli. He's already out of my team. I don't care, guys. Do what you want. But if 90 minutes against Napoli, I'm looking at that and going, get me out of here.
No, I mean, if I had him, I'd probably keep him this week, and I'd look to move him on next week for Trippier against Bournemouth. That's what I would have done.
Okay, so we've talked about Robbo. I want to talk about another Liverpool player. It's Mohamed Salah. I will just put him up there. So game week 1 to game week 6 here. I've got the stats of 6 appearances, 2 goals, 3 assists, shots on target. He's got 17 shots, only 5 on target, 14 in the box. XG of just 2.3, XA of 1.76, 4 big chances. He's created a big chance, and 24 key passes. In his next 5 games, he has Chelsea, Arsenal and Man City. He's 13 million. You know, if he's 10, 11, 12, whatever, he falls in there with the other premium assets and whatever. But he's 13 million. He's the most expensive player in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if that drops very soon, if it hasn't already. I haven't actually checked, because Big Mo just isn't doing it. He's not living up to that price tag. And I know what you're going to say, Bakar. Let me preempt it. Maybe I don't know. But all the experts go, but it's Salah. We've 5 years. We've however many years of data. He's incredible. It won't last for long. We've been saying this for 3 game weeks. And that's 3 game weeks of opportunity cost with 13 million sat in the middle of our pitch doing nothing. Being incredibly frustrating to watch. Wolves might be a good fixture, but I don't know. I just hate it. I think if I could feasibly do it, I'd be ditching Mo Salah right now and rolling with the punches. I might wildcard. No, I won't. I think I need to be patient for a week. I don't think my team's that bad, but like, I love the wildcard. I love it.
There are quite a few counter arguments to this. Now, firstly is the fact that even if you sell Salah, where do you go with the cash, right?
Everywhere, baby. I go everywhere. So I get Mitrovic. I get Tony. Ooh,
you'd get them anyway. Even with Salah, they're affordable because they're so cheap. So, I mean, will you really go to Kane when you can buy Mitrovic and Tony? No, you won't. So where will you go with the cash? You don't want the big at the back. You don't want big at the back. You don't want Kane up front. So where is the money going to go?
Bruno Fernandes.
Are you sure? I am not buying that for a second.
Son Heung-min.
Sure.
But I don't know. All I'm saying is, whatever about Salah, look, whatever about who it goes to, you can distribute it across a team, which mightn't be optimal, but I don't know. He's been incredibly frustrating.
That's the point. Where will you distribute it? You can't distribute it at the back. You can't distribute it up front. So where will it go? Is there any better midfielder to own? I'm not sure. The thing is that with Salah, yes, I mean, his output is definitely more questionable, and you're right that he's taking a lot more touches in wider areas. He's sort of playing by the byline, and it's very annoying to actually see as an owner. His non-penalty XG has halved from last season's average, which isn't really ideal, and he isn't looking that goal threat which we normally see for him. The good thing is that it's not a good thing. It's a saving grace that he's sort of been the top chance accumulator, the top chance creator in the league this season. But even then, he's had just like 5 big chance involvements in 6 games. So even the chances that he's creating aren't of high quality. So his numbers are definitely worrying. You're absolutely right. But then again, I just don't think this is the week to sell him, because I don't really rate Wolves that highly, and I think Liverpool could do well this week. If he blanks again and if his numbers are poor again, then I see a much more stronger case for wildcarding him out in game week 8 or 9.
Okay, so we're going to give him one more chance.
Yeah.
One more chance. Bakar, I'll let you. I'll give him one more chance if we think that. Like, but I don't know. Big Mo's pissing me off. Even like whatever happened, KDB. Is he gone?
KDP is nice. I mean, he will continue to take along. He's been a very good asset for a while, but then again, you know the risks with him. He will occasionally get rotated. I like the look of KDB if you ask me, to be very honest. But the thing with City is that there's value in their defense as well. So I don't potentially mind doubling up with the back, especially at a time when Chelsea are looking shaky. Spurs wing backs aren't really reliable in terms of starts. So double City defense. I think it's been a lot of people who doubled up with City have been very, very unfortunate. Their XG conceded has been very low, and they've actually underperformed in terms of their expected clean sheet. So they've been unlucky. I do think they should keep a fair few clean sheets in the weeks to come. Maybe not this week against Spurs, but after that.
Okay, so Bakar, is there anything else we need to discuss in this like after this game week? Is there anything else we need to get stuck into?
I think we've covered almost everything. If you want to take questions from the audience, then I don't mind.
Yeah, if people want to ping questions into us, we'll answer as many as we can before we decide to wrap up. I'm going to have a quick look here. I've got one more thing to check. And then, Bakar, we're going to have a quick look at your team as well for the weekend. Any rough plans? Obviously, there's a long way to go before that deadline, but maybe you've got a couple of things up your sleeve. But first, do you know what I've just been checking, Bakar? We do this every week. How many people do you think have liked the video? There's over 540 people watching. How many do you think have clicked the like button?
Around 90 to 100.
Only 74, Bakar. They don't
Show
like
some
your
love,
sweet
guys.
face.
Come
They
on.
just don't like you. It must just be you. It's not me anyway. They don't like you.
Show some love, guys.
Chuck a like on the video, guys. Right, Bakar. Let's see. I'm going to pull up your team here and see how we get on. So this is your team in the My Team tool on Fantasy Football Hub. If anyone wants to give it a go, click the link in the description and go over and give it a crack for free. Looking ahead, you're predicted to get 62.9 points this week with just an 87% game week rating. You know, you've got a lot of nice fixtures there. I'm trying to want a Cancelo up against Tottenham. Maybe not amazing. Outside that, you know, what are your thoughts for this week?
My plan is to use 2 free transfers because I don't think Neko is playable this week. I expect Leeds to score. And ideally, I'd want an 11th attacker. So my plan is to move from Reed to either Rashford or a Brighton attacker. Most probably a Brighton attacker. I don't think I can get to Trossard. I'll probably have to make do with Cross, and I'll have a look at how Kukurea looks tonight. He's really been frustrating me. He's a bit like Robertson in terms of what he's done. He's been very, very annoying with his output. So I'm potentially eyeing a move from Kukurea to either Dunk or Trippier, and an upgrade from Reed to Gross. That's the plan.
Okay, I like it. So that's your plans for the week. Let's see how that turns out. Let me just say those to me one more time. Actually, I'll pop them in. So we're going Reed out.
Yeah, Reed out for Pascal Gross, most probably, and Kukurea out for Dunk or Trippier. I haven't really made my mind up on this. Again, this will come down to a lot of factors, including the UCL, how things go tonight, because I'm not really sure about Luis Diaz either. If Luis Diaz is looking like a problem, if he plays 90 again, I'm not really sure whether he's going to play against Wolves. So I can't be 100% sure on my transfers. I'll be very honest with you. But if things stay the way they are, then I'm very likely to buy a Brighton attacker and to bring in either Trippier or Dunk for Kukurea.
Yeah, and if people want to see your final thoughts, you know, they can find you on Twitter and you'll pop out an article with that. The question I have here is the captain. That's the last thing I wanted to ask you, actually. You know, Salah against Wolves, Haaland against Spurs. Probably your only 2 options.
Yeah, and obviously without any other evidence, it should be on Haaland because his numbers are incredible, but the fixture suits Salah. And as of now, if Salah looks good again tomorrow, I'll most probably shift to Salah because I'm still confident that he will come good. So if he gets himself a goal, if he's playing in more central positions, Thiago is back, so that's a huge factor. Um, it depends on how Liverpool look tomorrow, but if they look decent, if Salah is getting into promising positions, then I'm very confident that it'll end up on Mo Salah. If that is the case, else I will go with Haaland.
So, Bakar, I want to see if you can break a certain record you set last week. The record is, in 5 minutes last week, you answered 45 questions.
Let's go.
Are you ready? So what I'll ask people
Absolutely.
to do is, what I'm going to ask people to do is get your comments in. A lot of you have asked questions. What I will ask you to do is ideally target yes or no style questions or ABC style questions. Bakar's going to answer as many as he can in 5 minutes, and then we're going to wrap up. But before then, this is brought to you. I'll actually pop over to my face here. Hello, everyone. This stream is brought to you by Spitch. You can check a link in the description if you want to give it a go. In a nutshell, this isn't prep. This isn't like written out and to give you the whole big sales pitch. Genuinely, from my perspective, Spitch is kind of like an FPL where much more actions on a pitch are scored. It's not just the goals and the assists and the clean sheets. Passes and tackles and all sorts of things are scored. There's other leagues outside the Premier League, including the Bundesliga and the Champions League. And there's plenty of paid modes as well as the free mode that goes all season long. You can go over and give it a go. Use the link in the description. And yes, this is brought to you by Spitch. Okay, so, Bakar, are you ready to hit as many as we can in 5 minutes? I've got my little Apple Watch on with a 5 minute timer. I'm going to hit go. When my wrist vibrates, we stop. Okay. I'm ready. Saka, hold or sell?
Hold.
Hold. Maddison or Trossard on a wild card?
Maddison.
Jesus or Tony?
Tony.
Isaac or Cancelo? Bench one.
I'd bench Isaac.
Harrison to ASM?
If he's fit, yes.
Mitrovic, Haaland, Kane or Tony? Haaland.
Obviously.
Salah or Kane?
Salah.
Jesus for Tony? I might have already asked that one. Let's get two in.
I won't sell Jesus for Tony this week, but it's a move that you can make next week if you feel like it, but it's not worth doing it this week for sure.
Brennan Johnson for a 2-week punt?
Next week's fixture is tough from what I recall, so I won't go there.
Dunk for James?
I won't sell James, no.
Cancelo out, James in?
No.
Sell, keep or play Perisic?
Sell.
Foden and Archer to Trossard and Mitrovic?
Yes.
Yes. KDB as Salah replacement after game week 7 if he blanks?
Doable, yes.
Rashford or Trossard if you have Gross?
Shouldn't matter. If you're wildcarding in 8, then go for Trossard. If you're wildcarding in 9, then go for Rashford.
Isaac or Tony?
Isaac.
Gross or Trossard?
Trossard.
Walker or Trippier?
Walker is injured, so Trippier.
Keep or sell Diaz?
Keep for now.
Foden or Zaha?
Zaha.
Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera?
Britney Spears.
Zaha or Maddison?
Zaha.
Sell Kukurea?
Yes.
Kulusevski for Trossard?
Yes.
Dunk or Veltman?
Dunk.
Halfway there, 2 minutes 30 up. Get your questions in. Trippier for Arnold?
No.
Nico to Dalot?
Not a bad move, yes.
Son in for Salah?
No.
Mitrovic and Pope instead of Jesus and Raya?
Only on wildcard.
Yeah, in game week 8, so yeah, only on wild. Should I sell Trent?
No.
Never?
Not anytime soon.
Okay. TA or Cancelo?
Trent.
Lewandowski or Benzema?
Benzema.
I said that weird. Ten Hag or Arteta?
Arteta.
Looks or personality?
Personality.
Good man. Okay. Gross to McAllister?
No.
No. Okay. Jesus, captain versus Everton?
I think Salah and Haaland are on another level, so I won't consider it.
Okay. Solly March for a differential?
Not bad if you can't go higher up in the price bracket.
Rashford for Harrison?
Yes.
Emerson a good 4 mil option?
Yeah.
Sinistera? Yes or no?
He's playing just 60 minutes. He's not entirely matched, but he can do well this week. But after this week, he's questionable. So if you're wildcarding next week, then yes, else no.
Sanchez or Ramsdale?
Sanchez.
Cucurella or Dalot?
Dalot.
Gross captain?
No, I won't consider it.
Pepper Klopp?
Pep.
Sell De Silva?
Sure.
Madison or Bowen?
Madison.
Madison or Rashford?
Rashford.
Orange or apple?
Orange.
Banana or pear?
Pear.
Pear or orange?
Orange. What the hell?
I'm just trying to get the question count up. Pope or Sanchez?
Pope.
Sterling or Son?
Sterling.
Sterling or Bruno?
Sterling.
Last question. There we go. Jeez, Bakar, well done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 53 questions answered. New record set, Bakar.
Yeah, I'm setting myself new challenges every week.
Setting new records. The biggest red arrow followed by the most questions answered. Boom. So, Bakar, I think, 750 people here. Thanks for being here, guys. I hope you are having a great week. I hope you have a great day. Anything to say before we leave, Bakar?
Good luck for the week. I hope it goes well.
Yeah, enjoy some Champions League football. Me and Bakar are off to record now a wildcard video. We're going to drop that on Thursday. So if you are wildcarding, check back in. Make sure you subscribe to find that. Like the video before you leave. And you can find us both on Twitter on the